everyone. You're welcome to Education Update on Independent Television. I am your host, Gabriel Zakari, and of course, this is a place where we keep you abreast with what is happening in the education sector. And as it is now, we are at the doorstep, or if you like, we are at the threshold of another administration, and a lot of stakeholders in education are beginning to say those things that they want seen in the education sector. Or are you satisfied with the way the sector is today? Some I once had a guest who said that education should be given top priority. And in talking about top priority, he said education should be the first and the last. That if you want to do anything in any sector, that if you have to put the horse before the cart, or then it means you have to get the issues in the education sector right. And that once the issues in the education sector are not resolved, are not solved, that every other sector is going to have problems. And of course, the international community over the decades have been trying to set a particular agenda, a particular goal across the globe, for countries in the education sector. That's why we talk about the Education 2030 agenda, that was brought by the Millennium Development Goals. And of course, we have the 2000, which is the more recently Sustainable Development Goal, SDGs, who say that every country should attain a particular level of, standard in their educational pursuit. Well, at the beginning of another administration, in this program, we'll try to see, how we can be able to set some kind of agenda, for the incoming administration. And without saying much, I have a guest here, a former Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Edo State, and he is Henry Idiagbon. I was saying issues that are in the education sector, and someone once said one of the topmost issue is that of the insistent strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, that has become more of a yearly thing. In this administration that is about to phase out now, we had a situation where students were at home for close to, put together, over 18 months. If you put the short 8 months during the COVID-19 that they had, and then shortly after the COVID-19, the members of ASU went on another industrial. Okay, is on now. He is the former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Edo State. So, sir, you are on. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right. We are about this present administration. It's about to phase out, to give way for another administration, and we are trying to assess and see what has happened so far in the education sector, and what should the incoming administration, do to see that our education sector takes its pride of place.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, hello. I can hear you.
Yeah. So, what are those things you think should be done, to see that our education sector is put in its proper place?
Okay. I believe that since independence, government after government in Nigeria, they have not paid adequate attention to the educational sector, and it is therefore no surprise that we are where we are in terms of development, because there's a direct correlation between a sound and effective educational system and development. The difference between us, an underdeveloped third world country, and the developed countries of the world is the educational system. So it's not something you can lay blame on one particular administration or this outgoing administration. The entire government system since independence have not paid, have failed, ANO refuse to pay adequate attention to the education of Nigerians. And without adequate attention to the education of Nigerians, there can be no development. So for the incoming administration, because let us not lament about the past, let us look at the future. For the incoming administration, the entire educational sector must be tackled holistically. Because when you have a weak primary school system, then you can have good products in the secondary school. And when the products in the secondary school are not good, you are going to end up with university undergraduates who are not good. So we have to go back to the basics. The basic is the primary educational system. We need to strengthen it. We need to train our teachers. The world is going digital and Nigeria is being left behind. Let us start teaching ICT and digitalization to our children from the primary school level. And by the time they get to the secondary school and by the time they become ripe for the university, we would have better students than we are producing today. Now, to do that, if you look at the university sector, for example, the university is not about the physical infrastructure. If you go to University of Abuja, for example, the landmass is huge. You have a huge gate announcing University of Abuja. But what of the human infrastructure? The university lecturers, year in, year out, there's virtually no year in this country where we have not had an ASU strike. ASU strike has become a culture. The incoming government must ensure that for the next 4 years, there should be no strike. They should be ready to sit down with ASU and resolve whatever issues are. If you listen to ASU, they are not really asking for their own personal benefit. They're asking for the university system to be rejuvenated so that they can be in a better position to produce better graduates than we are having in the country today, and up to impart the necessary knowledge on our undergraduates to develop our country. But they should be well paid. Their welfare should be well looked into. You cannot pay most of the lecturers today, even when they are employed full time. You will agree with me, they work part-time because they have to do other things to survive. I know of lecturers who are running shops, who are running kiosks in their university campuses in order to make ends meet, because whatever their salary is, which is supposed to be a take-home pay, is not sufficient to take them home. So after we deal with the human infrastructure, we put them on good salary, we give them good working environment, we provide houses for them, we can commission innocent. Once you are employed as a university lecturer in Nigeria, innocent will give you a car, paid for by the government or any an arrangement between the government and the employed lecturer. By the time we do that, we now go to the physical infrastructure.
All right, sir.
Yes.
To put things in the right perspective, someone once said that we are talking about those who are already in school, the educational system. I mean, what about the out-of-school children? The number of out-of-school children that we have in the country, how do we in any way get these children into school to start with?
That we have out-of-school children.
Yes, about the highest number of out-of-school children in the world right now.
Yes, that we have them in 2023 is an abomination, is an anathema. It should be something that we shouldn't have. So we have to take the keys. Some years ago there was universal primary education.
Yes.
Government has to place emphasis on universal primary education, which must be compulsory and which must be free. Every child that is born, once is of primary school age, the parents should be compelled to put the children in school. The schools must be available and the schools must be conducive. The schools must be attractive. If you go through Abuja, for example, you see the private schools, they are beautiful. If you go to the classrooms, they are boards, beautiful. They have beautiful diagrams, beautiful pictorials, so things that will make the children come to school. But if you go to the public schools, they are dilapidated. So when the schools they look more beautiful, much more beautiful than the houses where the kids are coming from, the kids will look forward to going to the school. So I am aware that some states, and including I think those states, is a criminal offense not to put a child of school age in school, in primary school. So it should be universal in the country. Once a child is 6 years old, he must be enrolled in the primary school nearest to the family, and if the family fail to enroll such a child, then of course government should move in and get such family arrested, prosecuted, and sent to jail. And by the time you try 2, 3, 4, 5 families in the neighborhood, all the other families they will take their children to the school, because for every one or a school child, a child of school that is not in school is a potential criminal. Those are the potential armed robbers. They are the potential kidnappers. They as a nation, we owe responsibility to every child born in this country to attend compulsory and free primary education. That is the beginning. We should not have out-of-school children in our school. So this new administration is an area they must concentrate in. And one area of getting all the parents to make their children to go to school is public enlightenment and criminalization of the act of not making your child to go to school at the appropriate age.
It's okay. What's your take for people who say beyond the, making it compulsory to see that children are into schools, the issues of insecurity that has prevented some kids from going to school? It's also there. The issues of economy, hunger, it's also there, and so many other issues that would prevent a child from going to school. So the schools are there, but the kids are not going to school. You will not tell me in a place where a child will go to school and he or she will be kidnapped, he will feel free to go to such schools. Don't you think these are the issues that surround the rising number of out-of-school children?
I agree with you. Those issues you have mentioned, the issues of hunger, the issue of insecurity in some parts of the country, they are existential issues that must be tackled. The new government must better tackle the issue of insecurity. This outgoing government must be commended. The level of insecurity in the entire country has reduced compared to when this government took over. So the incoming government must build on the successes of this government by taking security to the insecure aspects of the country so that kids can freely go to school. And maybe I should use this opportunity to read I hope they listen to your radio, to your TV station.
Okay.
These kidnappers and the terrorists, please, they should spare the schools. The children or the girls who are in schools should not be the object of kidnapping. They should not. They should spare the schools.
And you think they would spare the schools by pleading? They usually look for soft targets.
No. Yeah, where schools are soft targets, I agree. But they are human beings. They are not the devil themselves. I'm sure some of these kidnappers, they also have wives, they have children. They should spare the schools. They can go to the city and do whatever they do. But because government cannot provide 100% security. We all know that. The United States of America, this year, they have had over 150 shooting incidents. And we're just in there at the beginning of May. Mad people go to schools in America and they start shooting and killing children. They kill adults in the university. So government cannot provide 100% security. But Nigerian government must up a game in the provision of security for schools in remote area. But that's why I said this is a personal appeal. You never know. Some of these kidnapped kidnappings, they may just be listening to your program. So they may be touched. Let them stop kidnapping children and girls in schools. Those soft targets, they are not the good soft targets. Let them, if they must kidnap, they should go for other targets and not the children in schools.
All right, and also the appointments of a key position in the education sector. It's also seen in the past as being politicized, and someone who has been loyal to you in your party, and you make him or her minister or commissioner for education. Should it be so?
It shouldn't. Appointments, not only in the educational sector, appointments generally should be based on merit. It should be square pegs in square hole. People who are fit, people who can deliver the job. And when you appoint and somebody is not delivering the job, you also show the person the exit job. We must introduce a merit-based system in appointment and in running governance in this country. And that's why some of us
What are some of the criteria to look out for if you are seeking for the position of, say, Minister of Education? Should it be a veteran who has been in the education sector for a long time?
No, you don't have to be an educationist to be the Minister of Education. Because the minister is just the political head of a ministry. The people who actually do the work in any ministry are the civil servants who have been trained, to advise the minister. They advise the minister. It is the advice that they bring that the minister takes to the Federal Executive Council. Of course, an innovative person can also include his own innovation, his own opinion in the advice that the civil servants bring. So you don't necessarily have to be an educationist to be a minister for education. Somebody with a doctor, a pharmacist, an engineer can be minister for education and revolutionize the education ministry.
All right, thank you very much. If you are just joining us, we are talking with former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Edo State, Henry Idiagbon. And of course, maybe before we leave, you tell us what effect, you know, would it have when the people of a particular country are literate enough, they are knowledgeable. You know, they say education is a cure for ignorance. You know, how would it reflect on the lives of the people?
Education reflects on the totality of the life of any people. Like I said at the beginning of this program, the major distinguishing factor between a developed and undeveloped or underdeveloped country is the education. The G7 countries or the G20 countries today are what they are because they have an educated citizenry. Look at a country like India. India today is the most populous country in the world with 1.5 billion people. Every year, about 3, 4, 5 years ago, they produce over 100 million graduates in the ICT sector. And that's why you see today, in all the ICT companies in the world, Indians are heading there. If you go to Apple, you have Indian there. You go to the big tech companies, Silicon Valley companies, Indians are heading it. Because Indians are investing a lot in education and they are developing their country. Because you need education to develop. You need education for innovation. Before you can have good medical system, medical sector, you need education. Before
But
you can have
medical
good
doctors too,
sector,
people say medical doctors too are all over the world. Is it that we cannot utilize our own?
Yes, because we are not paying them well. The working infrastructure is not there. Go to our hospitals, the equipment are not there, and then they are poorly paid. An average Nigerian doctor fresh gets into the service, gets about 120 or 130,000 naira a month. That's not payment. When such a doctor migrates to the UK, migrates to the US, they get like $5,000 a month. Convert $5,000 times 700, you are talking of 3.5 million a month to 140,000. If you were in their shoes, what will you choose? That's why they are migrating. So we must keep them here. But besides keeping them here, we must have an educated clique, maybe of scientists, to also develop medical equipment. Because if you have the well-trained medical doctors, they don't have the equipment to be able to treat their patients, the death ratio will still be high. We manufacture nothing. We import everything. We must begin to manufacture. And that's why I commend companies like Innoson who are beginning to manufacture vehicles in this country. They should be patronized. We should stop driving Toyota Prado and Toyota Land Cruisers and Nissan and Mercedes-Benz. Let us be driving Innoson. We have textile companies in Nigeria making clothes, local material. Let us make suit with our local materials. If you see me now, I'm wearing a local material. Let all of us I'm wearing a local cap. Let us wear local. Let us consume what we produce in our country. By so doing, our country will develop.
All right, our country will develop, and we must thank you too for the advert you did for Innoson. Okay. I'm sure he will be proud. He will be proud of you.
Okay, you
all right.
Send the thing to them. I'm sure they will pay.
All right. Okay. Just as a final, what do you hope to see in another 4 years of this administration in the education sector? What do you hope to see? Maybe some specifics.
Yes. I am very, very, very optimistic that the incoming president, the incoming administration will deliver. The president-elect Tinubu delivered in Lagos State in virtually all sectors. Today, Lagos has the 6th largest economy in Africa. Lagos economy is compared to African countries' economy, not state. Lagos is just a state in Nigeria, it's not a country. So if Tinubu could do that in Lagos, I am optimistic he will do it in Nigeria. In 12 months from now, Nigerians will be celebrating Tinubu and they will say, oh, if they knew this man will perform this much, they would not have made him go through tough times during the electionary campaign.
All right, thank you very much, Henry Idiagbo, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Edo State. We must thank you sincerely for joining us on the program.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me once more.
All right, viewers, you heard it from him there. And we are looking at those things that we hope to see in the near future as we are at the threshold of another administration. We want to see our education sector at par with other sectors of the world. And with that, we shall draw the curtain and we'll come again next time with another topic on education updates. We say stay blessed and thank you for being there.